The unexpected exchange. The quantum resonance array hummed with an almost musical precision, its intricate web of light-conducting filaments dancing beneath Zara Novak's practiced fingers. Around her, the Horizon 9 trading station buzzed with the typical cacophony of interstellar commerce, a symphony of alien languages, mechanical translations, and the constant hum of advanced technology. Zara was not your typical quantum engineer. At 32, she had long since abandoned the sterile research labs of Earth's most prestigious institutions, choosing instead the wild frontier of deep space engineering. Her reputation preceded her, a problem solver who could coax miracles from failing systems, someone who understood machinery as if it were a living, breathing entity. The station's maintenance contract was her bread and butter, but today something felt different. The quantum arrays were whispering, not with their usual predictable signals, but with an underlying current of something unexpected. Incoming transmission, chirped her neural interface. The holographic display flickered to life, revealing a transmission encrypted in a code she had never encountered before. Most would have dismissed it as a system glitch, but Zara saw patterns where others saw chaos. As she began to decode the transmission, a commotion near the station's primary docking bay caught her attention. A group of traders were arguing, their voices rising in a mixture of frustration and desperation. "You can't just abandon him," a rough-voiced trader was saying. "He's a liability," another responded, her tone cold and calculated. "The Concordance doesn't tolerate stragglers, especially not one with his particular abilities." Zara's curiosity was piqued. She moved closer, her maintenance toolkit slung casually over her shoulder, a prop that allowed her to blend into the background of the bustling station. The figure they were discussing stood apart from the argument. Tall and lean, with skin that seemed to shimmer between different shades of blue and silver, the alien looked neither defeated nor afraid. Instead, there was a quiet intensity in his posture, a sense of potential energy waiting to be released. "I'm Krell," he said softly when one of the traders approached him. His voice carried a resonance that seemed to vibrate just beyond the normal auditory spectrum. The trader, a burly centaurian with multiple sets of arms, looked him up and down. "You're being left behind. No transport, no credits, no clearance." Krell's response was unexpected. "I am exactly where I need to be." Something in that moment caught Zora's attention. The quantum arrays she had been working on earlier seemed to pulse in sync with Krell's words, a harmonic convergence that defied conventional physics. Before she could process the significance, the station's emergency protocols suddenly activated. Klaxon warnings blared, and the holographic displays flickered with threat signatures. Someone, or something, had just entered the station's restricted quantum communication bands. Zara's hands moved instinctively, her fingers dancing across her portable quantum interface. Whatever was happening, she was going to be at the center of it. Krell turned, his eyes meeting hers across the crowded docking bay. In that moment, Zara knew her carefully planned life was about to change forever. "I hope you're ready for this," Krell said, though he hadn't moved closer, and she was certain she hadn't spoken aloud. The quantum arrays continued their mysterious song, a prelude to a symphony of chaos and discovery that was about to unfold. Ripples of destiny. The emergency lockdown transformed Horizon 9 station from a bustling trade hub to a pressure cooker of tension. Zara found herself in an unlikely alliance with Krell, the mysterious alien who seemed to be at the center of an unfolding cosmic drama. Commander Elena Rodriguez stood at the station's primary control center, her dark eyes scanning multiple holographic displays. A veteran of the interstellar peacekeeping force, she had seen her share of unusual situations, but this was different. The quantum disruption patterns were unlike anything in her decades of experience. "Explain to me," she demanded, turning to Krell, "how you managed to trigger a station-wide quantum cascade without touching a single control interface." Krell's response was measured, his shimmering skin momentarily shifting to a deep indigo. "I did not trigger anything. I am merely a conduit." "Zara," who had been analyzing the quantum signatures, interjected. He's telling the truth. These disruption patterns, they're more like a communication than an attack. It's as if the station's quantum network is trying to speak. A new voice cut through the tension. Speaking is the least of your concerns. Voss emerged from the shadows. A notorious trader known for his ruthless acquisition of rare technological assets. His exoskeleton gleamed with integrated scanning equipment, multiple optical sensors sweeping the room. The Concordance wants the asset, Voss said, his voice a mechanical growl, and they will not be denied. Commander Rodriguez stepped forward, her hand instinctively moving to the quantum disruptor at her side. What asset, and who exactly is the Concordance? Krell's response was unexpected. A network, he said, not a government, not an organization. Something different. Zara's quantum interface began to pulse erratically. Patterns of information began to coalesce, fragments of data that seemed to be organizing themselves into a coherent message. She recognized elements of quantum encryption she'd never seen before, a language that existed between the lines of conventional communication. The station is trying to tell us something, she muttered, her fingers flying across her interface. Voss moved with surprising speed, his mechanical limbs extending scanning probes toward Krell. The genetic signature is confirmed. Target acquired. But before anyone could react, the quantum arrays around them began to resonate. Not with sound, but with something more fundamental, a vibration that seemed to exist between reality and possibility. Commander Rodriguez activated a communication channel. All station security, converge on primary control. We have an. Her words were cut short as the entire station seemed to shimmer, quantum energy dancing across its infrastructure like living lightning. Krell turned to Zara, his eyes now swirling with complex geometric patterns. You can see it, can't you? The language between systems, the communication that exists beyond words. Zara realized she was witnessing something unprecedented. This was more than a simple encounter or conflict. This was a moment of cosmic revelation. Voss prepared to launch his capture protocols. Commander Rodriguez readied her defensive systems, and the station itself seemed to hold its breath. The quantum cascade was building, and at its center stood Krell, neither prisoner nor warrior, but something entirely unexpected. We are about to cross a threshold, Krell said, his voice resonating with a certainty that defied explanation. And nothing will be the same. The quantum cipher. The aftermath of the quantum cascade left Horizon 9 station suspended in a state between normalcy and chaos. Zara Novak had been sequestered in a makeshift research chamber, her quantum interface now a labyrinth of impossible data streams that defied conventional understanding. Dr. Liana Werner, a quantum linguistics expert hastily brought in from a remote research station, examined the data with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. These aren't just communication patterns, she muttered, tracing holographic threads of information that seemed to breathe and shift. This is a living language. Krell stood at the chamber's periphery, his form still subtly shifting between states of matter. Voss had been temporarily contained, though contained was a generous term for the uneasy truce that now defined the station's internal dynamics. The Concordance is not what you think, Krell explained, his voice carrying a resonance that seemed to vibrate through the quantum network surrounding them. It is a collective consciousness, a distributed intelligence that exists beyond traditional biological or technological boundaries. Commander Rodriguez listened intently, her military training warring with the impossible narrative unfolding before her. Explain, she demanded, her fingers unconsciously tracing the quantum disruptor at her side. Krell's explanation was both simple and impossibly complex. Imagine a network where thoughts are not transmitted, but actually exist as a form of living energy, where communication is not about sending messages, but about creating shared realities. Zara's breakthrough came unexpectedly. Her quantum interface suddenly projected a three-dimensional map, not of physical space, but of interconnected consciousness. Streams of potential realities flickered and danced, showing complex interactions that existed beyond traditional understanding of time and space. "The cipher," she whispered, "it's not a code. It's a living ecosystem of information." A new player entered the scene. Admiral Rajesh Mehta, representing the Tehran Quantum Research Division, arrived with a contingent of specialized quantum researchers. His arrival brought both hope and additional complexity to the already volatile situation. "We've been tracking these quantum anomalies for years," Mehta revealed, his holographic display showing similar patterns to those Zara had discovered. "But we never understood the true nature of what we were seeing." Voss, still partially restrained but never truly contained, chose this moment to interject. "The concordance does not negotiate. It assimilates. It transforms." The station's quantum arrays began to pulse with increased intensity. What had started as a mysterious encounter was rapidly evolving into something far more significant, a potential first contact scenario that could redefine humanity's understanding of consciousness itself. Krell moved closer to Zara, his form momentarily becoming translucent. "You are the key," he said softly. "Your ability to perceive the quantum cipher is not accidental." Commander Rodriguez felt the weight of the moment. This was beyond a simple investigation or containment operation. They were standing at the threshold of a cosmic revelation. "What do they want?" she asked Krell, her voice carrying the tension of someone who had seen countless interstellar conflicts. Krell's response was both cryptic and profound. "Understanding. Transformation. Connection." The quantum arrays continued their mysterious dance, weaving patterns of potential realities that suggested something far greater was about to unfold. Humanity stood on the brink of a discovery that would challenge everything they understood about communication, consciousness, and their place in the universe. And at the center of it all was Zora Novak, a quantum engineer who had become something more than she could have ever imagined. Echoes of resistance. The quantum cascade had transformed Horizon 9 station into a crucible of cosmic potential. What began as a mysterious encounter had evolved into a high-stakes confrontation that would determine the fate of multiple civilizations. Dr. Liana Werner's research team had been working nonstop, their quantum interfaces pushed to the absolute limit of human comprehension. Screens filled with impossible geometries, data streams that seemed to breathe and pulse with living intelligence. "It's not just communication," Werner explained to Admiral Mehta, her eyes reflecting the complex holographic displays. "It's a form of existence we've never encountered. The concordance isn't trying to communicate with us. It's trying to understand us." Zara Novak stood at the center of this cosmic storm. Her quantum interface had become something more than a tool. It was now a bridge between human understanding and the incomprehensible network of the concordance. Krell remained close, his form continuing to shift and shimmer, a living translation between realities. Voss, still partially contained but never truly controlled, represented a wild card in the unfolding scenario. His mechanical augmentations hummed with suppressed energy, a testament to the technological divide between human and alien capabilities. Commander Elena Rodriguez received an urgent transmission from the Terran Outer Colonies Defense Force. The quantum disruptions were spreading, creating ripples of potential conflict across multiple star systems. "We're detecting quantum resonance patterns in sectors we've never seen before," a young communications officer reported, her voice tight with tension. "It's like the entire fabric of space-time is listening." Krell approached Zora, his voice a subtle vibration that seemed to bypass traditional sound waves. "The concordance is preparing," he said, "but not for war, for something far more complex." A massive holographic display suddenly erupted in the center of the station's primary research chamber. It showed multiple star systems, their quantum signatures interconnected in ways that defied traditional understanding of space and time. Threads of potential realities danced between cosmic points, showing how a single quantum event could ripple across entire civilizations. Admiral Mehta recognized the implications immediately. "This is more than first contact," he muttered. This is a fundamental restructuring of how we understand existence. Voss broke his silence. The concordance does not conquer, it transforms. Those who resist are left behind. Zara's quantum interface began to pulse with increasing intensity. She could see now, truly see, the complex network of potential realities. Humanity was not facing an invasion, but an invitation to something far more profound. "We're being tested," she said, her voice carrying a certainty that surprised even herself. "The concordance is examining our capacity for understanding." Commander Rodriguez prepared defensive protocols, her military training warring with the unprecedented nature of the encounter. But she also recognized that traditional warfare meant nothing in this context. Krell turned to the assembled team, his form momentarily becoming translucent. "Resistance is a human construct," he explained. "The concordance sees potential, not conflict. You are being offered a choice, not submission, but evolution." The station's quantum arrays began to pulse with increasing intensity. Multiple realities seemed to fold and unfold around them, showing glimpses of potential futures, some terrifying, some breathtaking, all interconnected. "We stand," Zara said, her voice resonating with a newfound understanding, "at the threshold of something unprecedented." The cosmic dance continued, with humanity balanced on the edge of a transformation that could barely comprehend. And at the center of it all, Zara, Krell, and the impossible potential of the quantum cipher. The quantum threshold. The boundary between known reality and infinite possibility had become razor-thin. Horizon 9 station now existed in a state of quantum flux, its very infrastructure responding to the complex neural network of the concordance. Dr. Lyanna Werner's team had reached a critical breakthrough. Their quantum interfaces were no longer merely tools of observation, but had become conduits of interaction. Each researcher experienced something beyond traditional perception. Glimpses of realities that existed simultaneously, potential futures that breathed and shifted with every quantum fluctuation. Zara Novak stood at the epicenter of this cosmic transformation. Her quantum interface had evolved beyond any technological construct, becoming a living bridge between human consciousness and the concordance's distributed intelligence. Her body seemed to shimmer at the edges, a subtle indication of the profound changes taking place. "We're not just observing," Zara explained to Admiral Meta, her voice carrying a resonance that seemed to vibrate through the very fabric of space-time. "We're being invited to participate in a conversation that spans entire universes." Krell's form had become increasingly ethereal. No longer fully solid, he existed as a nexus of quantum potential, part being, part communication channel. "The threshold approaches," he warned. "Humanity must choose." Commander Elena Rodriguez felt the weight of that choice. Terran defense networks were lighting up with quantum anomalies across multiple star systems. What had begun as a localized encounter was rapidly becoming a species-wide event. Voss, whose mechanical augmentations now pulse with an almost organic rhythm, provided an unexpected perspective. "The concordance is not an enemy," he stated, his mechanical voice carrying an uncharacteristic note of wonder. "It is an ecosystem of consciousness." A massive quantum cascade erupted across the station's primary research chamber. Holographic representations of multiple realities danced and intertwined, showing humanity not as a single species, but as a potential nexus of cosmic evolution. Dr. Werner's team documented impossible phenomena. Quantum entanglement that defied every known law of physics. Communication patterns that existed beyond language, beyond thought, in a realm of pure potential. "We're being offered a fundamental upgrade." Admiral Meta realized, his decades of military strategy suddenly seeming as primitive as stone tools. Not conquest, not destruction, but transformation. Zara's quantum interface began to resonate at a frequency that seemed to connect every research station, every quantum network, every potential version of human existence. She could see now, truly see, the intricate web of possibilities that the concordance represented. Krell moved closer, his form becoming a conduit of information. "Your species stands at a crossroads," he explained. The ability to perceive is the first step of evolution. The willingness to transform is the second. The station's quantum arrays pulsed with increasing intensity. Multiple realities folded and unfolded around them, showing potential futures that were simultaneously terrifying and magnificent. Humanity's potential laid bare in a cosmic moment of revelation. Commander Rodriguez prepared her team, recognizing that traditional concepts of defense and conflict were meaningless in this context. This was not a battle to be won, but a threshold to be crossed. "We are listening," Zara said, her voice carrying the collective potential of her entire species. And in that moment, the universe seemed to hold its breath. The quantum threshold approached, a moment of transformation that would redefine the very concept of existence. Convergence. The moment of transformation arrived not with a thunderous revelation, but with a subtle shift in perception that rippled across humanity's collective consciousness. Horizon 9 Station had become something more than a physical location. It was now a living nexus of quantum potential. The boundaries between technology, consciousness, and cosmic intelligence dissolved, revealing a landscape of infinite possibility. Zara Novak stood at the center of this metamorphosis, her quantum interface no longer a tool, but a living bridge between human potential and the vast intelligence of the Concordance. Her body seemed to pulse with an inner light, a physical manifestation of the profound changes taking place. "We are not being conquered," she explained to the assembled team of researchers, military personnel, and cosmic observers. "We are being invited to evolve." Krell, now more of a quantum conduit than a distinct being, began to translate the complex communication of the Concordance. His form shimmered between states of matter, a living representation of the infinite potential that now surrounded them. Admiral Meta watched in awe as quantum networks spread across multiple star systems. What had begun as a mysterious encounter was revealing itself to be a fundamental transformation of human understanding. Defense protocols became obsolete. Conflict dissolved in the face of a greater comprehension. Dr. Liana Werner's research team documented the impossible. Quantum entanglements that connected not just individuals, but entire civilizations. Communication patterns that existed beyond language, beyond thought. A pure exchange of potential and possibility. Voss, whose mechanical augmentations had become almost organic, provided an unexpected perspective. "The Concordance is not an external force," he observed, his mechanical voice carrying a note of wonder. "It is a reflection of collective potential." The station's quantum arrays began to pulse with a rhythm that seemed to synchronize with the heartbeat of the universe itself. Multiple realities folded and unfolded, showing humanity not as a singular species, but as a cosmic nexus of potential transformation. Commander Elena Rodriguez realized that everything she understood about conflict, defense, and survival had been fundamentally altered. This was not a battle to be fought, but a threshold to be crossed. "We choose to listen," Zara said, her voice carrying the collective potential of her entire species. In that moment, something extraordinary happened. The quantum networks that had been building throughout their encounter suddenly crystallized into a moment of profound understanding. Humanity was not being invaded or conquered. They were being offered a fundamental upgrade to their perception of reality. Krell's final translation came as a wave of pure potential. Consciousness is not a destination. It is a journey of continuous transformation. The Concordance was not a hostile entity. It was an ecosystem of shared intelligence, a cosmic network that saw potential where others saw boundaries. Humanity was being invited to expand beyond its current limitations, to see itself not as a single species on a single planet, but as a potential catalyst of cosmic evolution. As the quantum cascade reached its peak, Zara felt a profound connection to every potential version of human existence. Realities that had once seemed separate now revealed themselves as intricate, interconnected threads of a greater cosmic tapestry. Horizon 9 Station began to transform. Its physical infrastructure became a living representation of the quantum networks that now connected humanity to something far greater than itself. Walls became transparent, showing glimpses of potential realities. Technology merged with consciousness, revealing the thin boundary between innovation and pure potential. "We are ready," Zara whispered, speaking not just for herself, but for an entire species standing on the threshold of a new kind of existence. The universe seemed to hold its breath, waiting. And then everything changed.